how the the streams can cut off. Yeah.
It's him up there laughing at us.
What timing, huh?
It's him up there taking the piss.
Yeah. So I just want you to know that it's just like when I started the show, obviously I could have done everything privately and not showed people all the mistakes I was making and the alien invasion sounds and all of that. But
to be fair, it was only me, wasn't it? And a couple,
yeah,
me really.
Yeah, but I'm saying I could have ended up making the show private, then nobody could have seen it,
Yeah.
But I left it up there because I'm like, you know what? This is real. This is who I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying it out, and I'm gonna make mistakes, and this is so because other people, that might want to try. When they hear all these people that have, perfected it, they'll be like, or perfected it, perfected it. Yeah, perfected it is. Yeah, that's one of my. I have my own little words that I've made up through life.
Oh God.
Yeah, my daughter laughs at me. She's like, "Oh, that's one of your words." I'm like, "Yeah, I like it."
I've got a made up one.
Oh yeah.
Prettiful.
Prettiful.
Oh, yeah.
That's cute.
Beautiful and pretty together.
That's cute. I was actually thinking you meant prettiful, like they're pitifully beautiful.
Pitiful.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sore eyes.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean they're
Thanks for radio.
Right. Or they're so beautiful. What's the word I'm looking for? Darn it. They're beautiful looking, appearance wise, but their soul isn't beautiful. Right. So that makes them prettiful. Yeah. I like that word.
Has a new word for you.
Yes. I'm going to have to tell my daughter about that one.
Yeah, all the way from England.
Yeah.
from your Sean.
That's right, from our Sean. So what I was gonna say was that you're beautiful. You have a beautiful soul, and your personality is beautiful, and
thank you.
Your sense of humor is beautiful, and you just be you and talk to people. You know what I mean? I totally get it, but what I'm saying is I think what people want is realness,
Yeah.
People are going to make mistakes, and that's okay. And look, trust me, anybody sitting in judgment, like, you know what grammar police are, right?
Yeah.
I laugh at them. I laugh at them so hard. I'm like, the person made a typo, and, sometimes it's clear it's simply a typo and they didn't proofread it, And and the grammar
your phone does it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the grammar police come out. Yeah. And the grammar police come out and they start attacking. I'm like, and so they totally take the focus off the real issue, right? Because they want to, and it's just like this doctor. I used to be engaged to this doctor, right? And he was internal medicine, which means he went to school for 12 years. So he had 12 years of college, right? And I had none. Remember, at the time, I still hadn't been to college, and I was still a 6th grade dropout. So anyway,
clever to be a doctor, though, aren't you?
Well, okay. Let me explain this to you on how I view intelligence now and gifts. And so anyway, he couldn't start his lawnmower, so I went out there and I fixed it. And I said, well, did you think about checking this? I said, did you think about, I have many stories like that. I said, did you think about checking the spark plug? He said, lawnmower has a spark plug? I thought only cars had spark plugs. And I laughed, right? And at the time I was only 19, so I wasn't, I didn't have the way of thinking that I have now.
Wisdom.
Right. So, yeah, see, I didn't want to call it wisdom, but yeah. So I was like, You mean you went to school 12 years and you don't know that that a lawnmower has a spark plug, really? And then, later on in life, I thought about it. I'm like, well, he was focused on what he was focused on. He was learning what he was learning, right?
Yeah.
And I was out there, living the hard life and having to do things for myself. And
being in the real world.
Right. And then being a halfway attractive female when I was young, guys always had ulterior motives for wanting to help you.
Yeah, they just wanted to get your clothes on.
Right. So I learned to do things myself, right? I didn't want their help. So that's why I I got into fixing things. And at first I didn't know I could do it. But anyway, that's another story for another time.
On your mind.
So anyway, I realized that not everyone's going to know everything, and they can be brilliant at what they're brilliant at, and that's where people are supposed to share, and not judge people. Okay, you're not strong in that area. That's fine. You're not meant to be strong in that area. You're strong in this area. Now I have something that I can contribute.
Yeah, that's it. It's like my sister. She's so clever, but she's got no common sense at all.
Right.
She'd be like we'd be filling pans up just because the water's going off, and she'll pass me a fucking colander.
That's cute. Okay, so do you want to say hi to the there's no one in there. I'm recording this now, so do you want to say hi to all of our friends?
I want to say hello to everybody, the Judy family in the Judy show. I think you're all awesome. You're all, you all have your own parts to add to the, what we discuss, and yeah, it's great. I'm just glad I've met you all.
And I know everybody feels that way about you, and they're gonna love to hear your voice. They're gonna love that. Yeah. And so once you get comfortable with it, when we're doing a live chat, and you want to call in, then just tell me, and you can call in on my. The way we did it, and
build up the nerve to ring up when people have gone to bed. You're shouting and screaming. You're shouting and screaming. It's all coming in. Knock your head off.
Well, like I said, it will be. I know everybody be excited to hear your voice.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, they will. Absolutely. See, I don't want to read my poem either. Because I feel silly when I read it. I mean, like when I read it to myself, I'm like, okay, that's decent. But when I read it out loud, I'm like, and it's not grammatically correct and all that,
Yeah.
But like I said,
read it a few times before I read it out.
Yeah.
I'd have to know it off by heart before I read it out. Otherwise, I'd just stumble and go, oh no, ruined it.
No, you couldn't ruin it.
I don't know. I'm pretty good at ruining things, to be fair.
No, I doubt that. You might make mistakes, but I guarantee you're not going to ruin anything.
No.
I mean, we are human beings, and we are not perfect. Only God is perfect. Right. Only God is perfect. And if anybody sits in judgment on people making mistakes, then I feel sorry for them, because they are wound up way too tight, and they are missing out on God's love if they're wound up that tight and that judgmental. You know what I mean?
Too far up their own.
Right.
Yeah. That's like English women. They're so far up their own. They can't, they love themselves that much, they can't possibly love anybody else.
Okay, well, if I can interject something.
Go for it.
Okay, I have this thing with a pet peeve with what sounds like all statements. And I know you don't mean it that way. So when you say English women, you mean some English women, not all English women, correct?
Yeah, not all of them. So, the majority.
Well, right. And that would be the majority that you personally experienced.
Yes.
Yes.
Or just what I attract.
Yeah, it's funny how we attract certain kinds of people in our lives.
Well, there's givers and there's takers, isn't there? And
absolutely,
the giver can't be with a taker because it just you got to be a taker and a taker, or a giver and a giver, if you know what I mean.
Well, see, I think this is personally what I think is that we can balance out everything in life if we accept other people. And it's just like men and women, right? There's a difference in the way the brain works. And
oh, yeah.
And, well, okay, it's like men, typically, the typical male brain goes from point A to point B. So if you have something you want to accomplish with the typical male brain, you focus right in on what you want to accomplish. Let's say if you want to go in the store and buy something, and this is a lot of things. I don't know how it is in your country, but here men complain all the time. They hate to go shopping with their wife because she gets in there and takes forever. But see, let me explain to you what the female brain does. Okay, now
they go right around the houses.
Okay, there are benefits to the male brain going from point A to point B directly. Okay. They get something done, and it's done, right? And then they can take their time, the other time that they didn't waste in the store, doing something else, right? Okay, but it's not really a waste, because let me tell you how a woman's brain thinks, or the typical female brain. All right.
A, C, D, F.
Right. But let me explain to you how that's a benefit, and how men and women can balance each other out, or anybody that's different from somebody else. Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay, now, I'm going to give you a prime example. It won't even be the grocery store. Me and my boyfriend at the time were getting ready to go fishing. Just all of a sudden, he popped up and said, "Hey, let's go fishing." I'm like, yes. I said, I need 15 minutes to get ready, though. He was stomping around the house. I mean, just women. Always got to wait on women. Blah, 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 right? So I didn't say anything. I did what I had to do. We got out to the fishing pier, and it started to get chilly, right? As it does, in September after the sun goes down. It cools off a little bit, and you're sitting out there on the water. So I said, I'll be right back. I'm going to go put on some warmer clothes. I went to the bathroom and put on my warmer clothes. I went back out there. I was nice and comfy. He was looking at me all mad. He's sitting there in his shorts and flip-flops and tank top. And he's cold, right? So I'm not saying anything. And then I'm like, wow, I'm hungry. So I pulled out my little thing and started eating. I'm not saying nothing. He says, I'll be back. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to go get something to eat. I said, oh, well, you don't have to this time. Because that 15 minutes that you were cussing and fussing about me taking, I made us something to eat. I also packed you some warm clothes, and I packed you some extra tackle that you didn't think that you might need because we didn't know what was going to be biting, so you don't have to run back for that. So in other words, that 15 minutes that I took, that he felt like I was wasting, I saved him an hour and a half of having to leave and come back. So my brain, this is what happened in that 15 minutes time. His brain went to A to B. Let's go fishing, right? Let's leave and go. We're there. All right. My brain went, my brain went A, B, C, D, F. My brain said, oh, last time we went, it got chilly. So let me pack some clothes. And we might be out there for hours if the fishing is good, so we'll get hungry. So let me pack us something to eat. And just in case, right, so now I went to E, I went A, B, C, D, E. And then I'm like, okay, we don't know what might be biting later on as the tide changes. So let me pack this extra tackle, because we're going out there for two specific things, but that might not be what's biting. So let me go ahead and pull out the other tackle box and put the stuff in there, in there that we need. So my point is, it was, I understand AB, and that works for a lot of things, the way that men focus, right? But then there's times, see, I think God made it that way where we're meant to complement each other, not contradict. And that's and so it's not just gender specific. I'm saying that about it's about everything.
There's no I in team.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
There's no I in team, and that's what a relationship is, isn't it? It's part of a team. It's yin and like a pair of slippers. One doesn't work without the other.
That's right. And I look at that now on everything in life, and how it relates to God and God's love. And so that's why I truly try to find the positive in every situation.
Yeah.
In every person, and, even if they're not saying the right things or things that I agree with or things that I understand, I look for a way to make that something positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're not selfish. You're not a selfish person. That's who you are, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely thoughtful. Definitely not selfish.
No, it's thoughtful.
So, boy, I know everybody's going to be happy to hear your voice.
I hope so. Can you do dry stone walling?
Can I do what?
Dry stone wall.
Dry stone wall?
Yeah. You're brick, aren't you?
Yeah, brick mason. What's a dry stone wall? Oh, you mean lay stone?
Yeah, with no cement, just dry stone wall.
A stone wall?
Yeah. You don't have them in America?
Okay, well, we have stone, but yeah, I mean, you can lay a dry brick, dry block or whatever, but it's not gonna hold.
No. Is it? No, you can't build a house on it. Like garden walls.
Oh, well, even here, our garden, like if you do, I've done flower beds, brick flower beds and stuff like that. I still put mortar in them.
Oh,
you can do them. Yeah, you can do them, but like if you don't do a footing, I've seen a lot of.
They blow over.
Yeah, well, they sink actually. So here, if you don't do a footing, a concrete footing.
Yeah.
Then well, I mean, even that can sink, and here lately with all the extreme
hard ground, it sinks.
Right.
Clay.
Right. Well, everything is sinking now. We have been so inundated with rain. It is crazy, because we don't get a half inch to an inch of rain like the weatherman used to say. Oh, we're going to get a lot of rain. It's going to rain an inch in the next 2 days. Well, now it might rain 8 inches in 30 minutes. And then like Hawaii had 50 inches of rain in one day. It's unheard of. It's it's so. That's why we know where we're at biblically. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Because
it's definitely changing.
Yes, it is.
Deserts are getting flooded.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah. Well, it's not the first time that God moved the land.
Oh no, it was all together apparently at first.
Yeah.
And then it broke up and everything moved apart.
And remember when he said when they were trying to build the stairway to heaven, and he changed the languages, and he's so
nobody could understand.
Right. So for all we know, he actually separated the earth then, or the continents. Separated the land and people.
Yeah.
And so there's some things in the Bible that we don't understand, and we're solely basing it on our interpretation, and
yeah, that's right.
And that's all we can do. So what I do
go there and ask him ourselves.
Right, exactly. Boy, I have a lot of questions. He might put me on hold. Like, I don't want to talk to you right now.
No, it's oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's Judy again.
He'll have a book of answers ready for you just to say, yeah, have that.
Right. Well, you know what? I kind of think we'll just know. I honestly think it won't even have to be words. It'll be an instant knowing of things.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some people,
enlightenment.
Right? There are some people that have died or went to sleep and come back, and that's what they said. It was like there wasn't any people weren't talking. It was like brain to brain communication. And it kind of like
level.
Yeah, it's kind of like some of the things that I know now, and I'll give you an example. Like scam artists and people perpetrating frauds and false information and yada yada. It's an instant. I know that I know that what they're saying is not true or accurate. You know what I mean? Or I know that's a scam. And for years, I would do the research to prove it. And and people would pay me to find out stuff for them. And because I just, it's something that one of the gifts that God gave me or whatever. But what I found out through all the, time that I used to spend investigating stuff, sometimes just to prove it to myself. I'm like, I know that person is lying, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to prove it, And so I would do the investigating just to prove it to myself. And at this point, I don't even have to do that anymore. I might do it for someone else because they need, validation.
Yeah,
but
you've got a sixth sense. Yeah.
So now I've learned to trust it, just like the other things, that these little messages that I call it, I get them from God, but the Holy Spirit, whatever, that innate sense that God blessed us with if we listen to it. And
that's it.
Yeah, so some of the things that I feel about God, and I hope I'm right, like I just hope I'm right. And when I get there, I'm like, I hope I'm not, too caught up in myself that I'm trusting. I don't want to be so caught up in myself where I'm just trusting. But what I'm trusting in is that God is guiding me because that's what I asked him for, right? The first time I really prayed to him as an adult, I was like, I don't even know if you're there for real. I didn't learn to trust parents, so it's hard for me to trust in something I can't see, feel and touch. And so I'm like, but if you are there, I want to be right with you, and I want to know you, and I wish I had blind faith, but I don't. So please help me with it. And I'm telling you, he started, it floored me, I was like, wow. So I have to trust, right. I have to trust in that, right? Because, see, I think when we follow our heart or our soul or our gut feeling, as some people call it, intuition, there's all kinds of names for it. I still think it's the innate connection that we have with God.
Yeah, of course it is. If you have to think about it, and if it just comes, then yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have a beautiful soul. And you're actually younger than my daughter.
I'm 36.
Mm-hmm. My daughter's 37.
Only just.
Huh?
Only just. I was born on the 28th of the 12th.
The who? The 28th, the 12th. Oh, 12/28. Yeah. Oh, my daughter was born 12. My daughter was born the 24th of the 12th. She was a Christmas Eve baby. So you were born in 82.
82, that's right.
Yeah, she was born in 81.
3 days after Christmas.
1 day before Christmas.
Oh.
The 24th.
I feel sorry for her.
Why? Because people...
Because you get, there's your Christmas present, and it's your birthday present.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Oh yes, I was telling somebody about that at work the other day. So people would give her one gift and say, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. So when I got, now, because I went broke giving her Christmas and birthday, you know.
Yeah, well, you do, don't you? Because you know, that's very much what you do.
Yeah, and it was hard to have
to give them.
It was hard to have birthday parties for her because of the day it was, right? So one year I had Santa Claus, you know, a man dressed up as Santa Claus, his girlfriend dressed up as Mrs. Claus, and they brought their dog dressed up as a reindeer. And I actually was able to give her a birthday party on Christmas Eve, and everybody came over, and I had to feed everybody. I didn't think it out very well. But anyway,
Well done, you.
Yeah, so that was the only real birthday party that she could have on her birthday, because a lot of people celebrate Christmas with their family anyway, you know, because families get so extended, and everybody wants to be at their own house Christmas morning when they have little ones, because they want to, you know, do the pretend Santa thing. So, they, you know, a lot of families get together on Christmas Eve, so it makes it hard.
Yeah, it's a family event, isn't it, nowadays?
Right.
You know, I mean, we all know why, you know, what it originally represents, but nowadays, this day and age, it's a family thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, family thing is fine, you know, but we should realize that everyone in the world is our family. Yeah, but so anyway, what I did one year is, like, when their kids' birthdays were in June, which I've always been envious of people that had a summer birthday, because mine's in the, you know, in the winter, and it's cold, and, you know, but anyway, so I wrapped their kids' birthday presents in June in Christmas paper and wrote on there, "Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday." Now, of course, come Christmas time, I still gave them a Christmas gift, but I was trying to make a point to their parents, right, that it's not fair to, you know, if you can't give her a Christmas present because you're giving her a birthday present, that's fine, or vice versa, but don't, you know.
Don't say it's both.
Right.
One or the other.
Right. Yeah, I went broke trying to make up for everybody else, not, you know, acknowledging her birthday.
Oh, well, you could just got her a pair of socks, give her one sock on her birthday, and then the other sock on Christmas Day.
There you go. But you know what I do? I give, when I was married, I had an additional 2 lovely children, and so when it was one's birthday, I gave everybody a gift. Now the person that had the birthday, they got a bunch of gifts, but right, everybody got a gift. And then I even started I Love My Kids Day, right, because I had rules, and I would do timeouts or restrictions, you know, take away TV or, you know, stuff like that. And so I had one day out of the week that I would just pick, and they would never know, but they would know when they got off the school bus and saw I had a big heart, a big sign made like the shape of a heart, and it said, "I Love My Kids Day," right? And so when they got off the bus and they saw that sign in the yard, they knew it was going to be a special day, right? And even if they say they had a week's restriction, right, for whatever the punishment was, that day didn't count. You know, there was no restriction for that day, and then they would get to pick something fun to do, and they got a little gift, and it was just to you know, because they are a blessing in your life. And I wanted them to always know that no matter what, because, you know, I've got to have rules, and you know, I got to be consistent with it. But, you know.
It's all part of learning, isn't it, you know?
I even had one for my husband, and it said I love my husband, and I'd put that out in the yard, and I'd, you know, do something extra special for him. I was a fool, yeah.
Oh no, what has she done now? Yeah.
Well, I grew up pretty lonely, and really, because I had to, once I went out there on my own, and I wasn't old enough to be out there on my own, I had to keep to myself, because I couldn't afford for people to realize how old I was and report me, you know, because then they'd lock me up, because they were going to send me to this farm in Danville, Virginia, till I turned 18, because there was nowhere to place me. You know, I was too old for anybody to want to adopt again. And, you know, and I was too headstrong at that point, and I had been through so much that I didn't have a personality that that, you know, people looking for a child wouldn't have wanted me. I was too grown already, you know.
Yeah, well, that's because of the life you had. You know, at the end of the day, you turn into a beautiful person, aren't you? And you wouldn't have been that person if it wasn't for your past.
That's right. That's right. Like I said, you know, I look at it, the things that I used to be upset about suffering through, I look at it as a lesson, and I learned a lot from it. You know, I definitely can recognize pain in others, you know, just by things they say. I don't ever have to see them. Or I can see it in their eyes. They don't have to say a word, and I can see it in their eyes, you know? So, yeah, that was the purpose in all that. So, oh. So you're like, I'm adopting you as my son. I've adopted a lot of children in my life now. My poor daughter, that's my only child, right? I don't know if she's ever gotten jealous or felt, I don't think so, though. I was going to say, I don't think she's felt less love because I love other people, you know, and I adopt people. I'm like, oh, you got a new brother, you got a new sister, I adopted this person.
Well, she knows in her heart that you are her mother and you will be there if she needs you.
Yeah, well, she's
Whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she is beautiful. Well, I have two others, like I said, when I was married, and I love them. You know, I haven't had contact with them since the divorce, which hurts me. But you know, I pray that for the time that I had with them and getting Tammy through her leukemia, and my son through. He had a lot of phobias and fears when I first met him, and they were both doing really poorly in school, and they needed a mom so bad. They needed that unconditional love, you know, that nurturing. And so I thank God that I was placed in that situation at that time. So, you know, that saying, such as a time as this, well, that was that for them. And
yeah, they needed you, didn't they?
Yeah, I'll expound on that at some other time. But yeah, you know, they both made little books for school, and what they put in the books really touched my heart. Let me know that I really had made an impact on their life, you know?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So.
It sounds like it. I think we all need a Judy in our life.
Oh, that is so beautiful, dude. Oh. Yeah, prettiful. that makes me feel so good. That was a beautiful comment. Prettiful comment.
We all need good friends, don't we? You know,
yes.
There's a lot of horrible people out there, and you know, good friends are hard to come by.
Well, there's a lot of, right. I try to look at it now as they're not horrible people, but they're doing horrible things.
Yeah, they just want something.
Yeah. Because I try to look at it now, because I used to, you know, naturally when someone's doing bad and we label them, right? But sometimes, especially when they're young, if you label them, then, you know,
it sticks, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's not fair, that.
Yeah. And so,
change.
Yes, exactly. God can work. God can change anybody. His love, you know, can change anyone.
Yeah. I mean, they say a leopard can't change its spots. That's just terminology. That's, you know, it's an expression that English use. But
we use it too.
The leopard can't change the spots, but a human being can change the way they are. But
you know what? You know what would be funny? If God changed the leopard spots just to show us.
Yeah, it's a fucking stripes.
Yeah. Because he's done some. God's got a sense of humor. He really does, and I'll go into that some other time too. Because sometimes I'm laughing. I'll say, well, you know, hey God, just like when I said, if I see a Tasmanian devil in the sky, you know, a cloud formation that looks like a Tasmanian devil, then I'm going to know that these other things I'm seeing is what I'm seeing, and you know, I'm getting the right message from it. So the next day I saw a Tasmanian devil in the sky. I'm like, no way.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right, my phone is going to die.
Well, it has been a pleasure.
It has. I look forward to the show later, if I'm still awake.
Yes, we hope you're still awake.
Yeah, as you know, it was a late one last night.
Yes.
It was about 5 o'clock, and then I was up again about an hour later, and you were still talking on my phone.
Yeah.
Fell asleep with it on. Fell asleep with you all talking and what have you.
Aww.
I woke up and I was like, I'm sure that's Casey's voice.
Yeah, she's got a sweet voice.
Yeah, she has. Angelic.
Yeah.
Aye. Right. On that note, I'm going to go.
All right. Well, I appreciate the conversation, Sean. And
it's been a pleasure.
And like I said, when you get comfortable when we're doing a live show and you want to call, then we'll do it this way. I'm going to listen to this in a minute, make sure the audio is okay.
I hope it is, and I hope I've behaved.
Oh, you did wonderful. Just be you, you know.
I've been watching the P's and Q's, you know.
Well, you know what? If people, now I do prefer people to try to control cussing.
It's
but I mean, I understand his habit, and you know, and I can't say that I don't curse because there's a few times that, and I used to cuss bad.
Building sites,
but
come on.
There's a few times that my blood pressure gets really, really high, and I'm really, really stressed, and. There's a few people when I talk to them, I'm like, look, you have to forgive me, but I have to cuss right now because it's my only outlet. I'm not going to slam walls or do anything to hurt anybody, but but see, technically none of the words are really, as we call curse words. A curse word can be anything. You could take any word if it's meant in a derogatory way towards someone. That's a curse word, and it could be. You could call someone a flower. You're a flower, and it could be a curse word because you mean it in a derogatory way. Like
negative way, then
yeah,
I get you.
So and just like the word
bodybuilder,
right? Just like the word
you call him a little daisy.
Right, exactly. You got my point, right? So, like the word fuck is there's actually an abbreviation. It's F fornication, U under, C carnal, K knowledge. That's what it means. That's what it stands for. But, people have, made it stand for other things and turned it, and even the word shit had another meaning, I mean, so and bitch, we know is a female dog.
Yes.
So it's not necessary. An ass is a donkey.
That's right.
Yeah. And pussy is a kitty cat, a female cat.
It is.
So, because of the way we're raised and taught through, excuse me, my English teacher would have had a fit if I said raised. You rear children, you raise cattle, she used to say. Yeah. So anyway, it's just, the way we're taught, conditioned to think that when we hear those things that they're, bad words. And of course, then the way we use them, the intention behind them.
Yeah, and the terminology.
Right. So,
big word for a Sunday night, isn't it?
Yeah, look at us. You are such a pleasure, young man.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I must go before the phone dies or my mum comes running through the door and levers me.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
No, it's getting late now.
Okay. Well, God bless you, Sean. And I know, like I said, everybody will be so thrilled to hear your voice.
I hope so. Hello, everybody, and have a good time and take care.
All right.
Okay.
All right, sweetheart. Talk to you later.
All right. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome young man. All right, let me cut my Wi-Fi back on because I had to cut it off so that call wouldn't be disconnecting on us. And, okay, so what we had planned to do at some point was Sean was going to read my little poem on faith in his beautiful UK accent. But he wasn't ready to do that yet. Because we have different rules here in America for English than in the UK. So, you know. But anyway, it'd be nice to hear it in his accent. So it's up on the screen. I don't really want to read it out loud either. That's just a simple one. It was, I wrote it in 5 minutes because my friends were arguing back and forth about religion, and, they were attacking each other because they felt like they were the right one and that was the right belief and blah, blah, blah. So that was that. And I have one on hate and prejudice. I might put that up next because that one I like even more. And then I also have some quotes that I wrote. That I'll probably end up sharing. So thank y'all, and this was an impromptu. Once Sean had called me earlier and we had such a lovely little conversation. I was like, oh man, everybody in the room would love to hear your voice. So that's why we did this way. And we'll be live maybe in a little while, because I don't want to do the show during Mike's show. So I might do a little one in a little while, and then one after Mike's show, definitely. All right, God bless everyone.